Here. Paul.
Here.
Phil.
Here.
Al. Jeff. Sam and Ryan. You.
Aye. Other aye.
Two ayes. Okay. I would entertain a motion to accept this evening's
I make a
agenda.
motion to accept the agenda.
Second.
Second.
So, approval of previous month's minutes.
I make a motion to accept previous month's minutes.
Motion's made to approve, do I hear a second?
Second.
No one opposed? Okay. Public invited to be heard, we don't have any, lucky to have a quorum. Okay, item 5, communications. Jeff, Sam, Brian, anybody?
I'll go. So we're just gonna do October's, I'm assuming, or do you want us to do, last 2 months since we did?
Just do October.
Okay. Cool. October, so projected for Sunset, revenue, we were projected at 30,121. Our actual revenue came in at 51,688, it's up about 11%. Round-wise, projected rounds were at 2383, came in at 3268, 1.5% increase from previous October. All due to weather. Weather was pretty darn good for October. November, unfortunately, is not good so far. As of right now, I have been closed 13 of the 21 days.
Wow.
Total closure last year in November was 6 days. So I've doubled the closed days due to the snow. Rounds in revenue are down. So your rounds were down almost 50% from last year for November, and then revenue-wise, we're down about 6,000 in revenue. Although the punch cards that we started selling, we've sold more punch cards than last November so far. And of course, since we made the small increase, we've made a little more money off them. But we'll see.
Go ahead, Ron.
No, you're good. That's all I got for Sunset.
I'm just curious, what I'm saying, when you look at next year's budget, when you project revenue, do you take into account, assume X number of snow days?
It's always a guess. Like last year, for example, we didn't really get very shut down until the 31st when we got the snow.
Right.
And then we were closed January and February, the entire month of 2022. So it's really a guessing game. I look at the shoulder seasons as if we get open and get some good play, it's kind of bonus revenue, bonus rounds.
Sure.
And I think that's how it's been projected in the past. If you look back at all of, at least since I've been here 10 years.
Yeah, you've got to project something, like this year we projected
it's a small
revenues for January and February, and we got 0.
Yeah, it's generally a small amount for November, December, January.
Last November was one of the warmest Novembers in
That's
history.
everything.
Yeah.
November, December,
And this November's turned out to be one of the coldest.
Way colder than normal.
So it's amazing what a year makes.
Okay, Sam?
Okay, you want to rattle off Twin Peaks as well? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, Twin Peaks revenues came in at $113,949. Putting them ahead by $83,327. Very good year.
Yeah.
Good Creek's revenues came in at $157,907 for the month. Year to date, we're at $1,848,948, putting us almost $120,000 ahead. It's been a great year. Golf has been very good. Then looking at the rounds, Twin Peaks actual rounds for the month of October, 3,906. with their year-to-date numbers at 36,935, which is very strong. I remember whenever just trying to get to 35,000 for the year, Twin Peaks, now it's going away. And then for Duke Creek's rounds, actual rounds year-to-date are 40,248, down 651 rounds, but way ahead in revenues. Just because, you know, raise fees and a few other categories were doing very well. And I ran the numbers for November as well, and we've been open 9 days this month, 17 days in 21. We're down almost 42,000 so far for the month. But on a good note, if we get open this weekend, we will meet last year's numbers, which was a record year, which is almost 1.9. Just a few more days of being open, we're gonna set another record year.
What's the course look like? Is the snow about gone, or?
You know, I keep opening and blocking the tee sheet. And I'm thinking, okay, so you can go for Wednesday. Now, I don't know. Now we're just hoping for Friday. It's, there's not a lot of it, but what we do have just keeps freezing over. So we're hoping for Friday.
Any other comments in this section? Moving on, old business, non-project updates.
You want to talk about irrigation first?
I can.
Okay.
So, can't remember how we left it on the last meeting, but now we're working on, originally we were gonna do Twin Peaks irrigation system. It got changed to just the pump stations this year. And now, what did we say, last couple months, we changed it. Now we're gonna do Twin Peaks and Sunsets irrigation replacements scheduled for starting fall of 23. As it sits right now, we have our spec sheets turned into purchasing. They'll be working on it. They put it into the format and hopefully get it out the bid here as soon as possible.
What's the projected completion time?
So Twin Peaks is projected to start just after Labor Day in 23 and probably be done in March or
Closer
April.
to June.
Yeah, there you go. June of 24. So that's with doing a little bit of work in the fall, pump stations over the winter, and finishing up in 24. And then the sunset would either fall right behind that, starting in June, or in right after Labor Day of 24. It's all dependent on the water project that's going over there. Now, we can't start our project till they're done. And then that one's projected to take September, and it would be done by the end of the year. Or if it started in June, it would be done by Labor Day, October.
Will that affect people playing? You have to close the course and all?
We don't have, or try not to close the course. There'll definitely be places impacted by the project.
Yeah.
But it's gonna work kind of like road construction, where they'll be in one spot and move around, and there'll just be small parts of the course impacted at a time to get it done. So all that plan is dependent on what the availability of all the companies who show interest in submit a bid.
So is it mostly boring that they're gonna be doing, or are they gonna be trenching?
It's gonna be a little bit of both. So our main lines would be either dug into the backhoe or a trencher, because they'll be 6 to 8 inch lines at Sunset, and what are they, 8 to 10 inch lines here at Twin Peaks, and they'll be 48 inches down. And then all our lateral lines with the heads attached to them will be pulled or trenched, depending on what the terrain looks like in the area.
So that'll dictate how much the course is closed to some
Yeah.
extent.
Yeah, the main line is gonna be the part that has the biggest impact, because that's the part they have to trench or dig in. Where the laterals, are usually HDPE pipe, so they'll have fused together long stretches of them, and then pull a long stretch in and
So no boring like they do with
Yeah.
the light, optics and stuff like that to avoid the system.
Yeah, we'll do that, so it'll be a mixture of that and open trenching depending on what the terrain looks like, where they're working at for the day.
Any other items under old business?
The maintenance building, we have completed our second submittal to the design review team. We have just a few minor things that have to be addressed with them. We've also submitted to the planning department for the permit. Permit's probably 3 months before we can get that done, and then we'll be ready to work with the citywide award contractors so that we won't have to go to a bid, but we'll get as many quotes as we can from those 4 companies to do the construction. We're hoping that that can take place starting in February, because if we don't start construction by March 15th, there's some wildlife issues that will prohibit us from moving forward until after August 15th. So we're hoping to get the earthwork going so that we're already in process before some of the birds come back.
Gotta protect the
Yep.
Have no other old business, moving on. New business, Sunset, Brian, anything?
He has a
That's me.
presentation he's gonna be doing.
Okay.
Let's get some data. There we go. All right, so giving the sunset presentation to be very similar to the Twin Peaks and New Creek presentations we had earlier at our last meeting. So we'll start off with a update on the projects we did this year. So our main projects we did over at Sunset this year was renovation on a couple tee boxes. So it started here with number 9, the back tee box. So we have a picture of the old tee box here up in the middle, and you can kind of see it from the picture, but the main point of the renovation was to take the crown that has been in there, caused by years and years of use and top dressing. Then over here, here's when it was the finish work done. So you can see kind of here in this front corner of the tee box, that's how much elevation they changed onto that tee box to make it level. So they added about 2.5 feet in this front corner, so that would be the northwest corner of the tee box. And also on this back side here by the pump station, they ended up adding another 4 feet of tee box that was flat, so we gained a whole lot more tee area than what we used to have. And down here in the middle was a picture of when it was completed on May 27th of this year. So, pretty big difference there on that tee box. But not as big as number 5 tee box. So number 5 was probably one of the larger projects, so made the most difference in before and after. This one, with while taking out the humps and crown, we also decided to make it one larger tee box instead of having 2 separate ones in the back. So what the company ended up doing was moving about 18 inches of soil off the back tee box, which was the blue one, and leveling it out with the white tee box that's previously there, which also allowed them to add about 4 to 5 feet towards the very front of the tee box. So between down here in the middle, you can see the flat work they did. You can kind of tell by this picture the difference in elevations they did that level it out. So that back tee box, we gained about 1,400 square feet of tee space than what we originally thought we were gonna have, so we had a pretty good increase in usable tee area on the back tee. And then here's a picture in the lower right of the tee right when the sod was laid and completed. So this project was done on June 10th. So that's just the white and blue tee box. The next one that was done, we also did the forward tees on number 5. So this one here had an awful lot of crown in it, a lot like the tee on number 9. But once they got everything stripped down, we were actually able to add another 4 feet to the front and 4 feet to the back of the tee box, while keeping it the same width, which also gave us about 1,400 square feet of usable tee area on the forward tee on 5. So the middle picture here shows their dirt work. Their dirt work when they got it done, and it was 400 square feet on this one, not 1,400. So then here on the right is a picture of the tee once it was completed during growing. This was completed on June 10th, and now all these tees were grown in, cut back out to their tee shape, and have now fully grown in and part of the course now. You can still see a few of the transition areas out there just from the difference in sod that was laid, but now everything is grown in and ready to be used. And I'm sure Ryan will agree that we haven't heard anything but positive feedback on all the tee boxes that we got done.
It's been a night and day kind of restructure of that, the both of all teams really, to have a level lie. A lot of players were confused at first, but you know, it's been nothing but positive feedback on everything for that.
Another project we completed at the first part of 22 was got a new roof put on the maintenance shop here. It's kind of, this time for a new roof on the maintenance shop, so that was one of the things we got done this year.
But that was a much bigger project than just putting shingles on.
Yeah.
I can tell.
There were some pretty significant issues there, and I think being able to replace that roof extended the life of that building, because we were given notice that if we didn't do something, we needed to get out of it, and so they did a really nice job, and things are much better than they had been.
Not done 5 years ago.
Yes.
Then, so I gave an update a little bit ago on Sunset, or spoke about that bond project. So this is the first map I received from our designer. He's still in the process of finishing the Sunset design with numbering out all the stations. But this is the new design of the irrigation system over at Sunset. So right now, Sunset, the north side by where the clubhouse is, and the south side on the other side of Longs Peak, and between Longs Peak and Third, are two separate non-connected irrigation systems. The new design will connect the system to be one irrigation system with pipe going underneath Longs Peak here, right by 2 green and 3 P. So instead of having two separate irrigation systems with two completely different personalities, it'll be one complete irrigation system with the same pump station in this, with a newer pump station with the same irrigation. So this here we'll put all the head spacing to 65 feet, which right now they range anywhere from 60, 65, to 70 feet. So this will be a lot more uniform. There'll be a looped main line, which is the dark line that goes around both areas, so that way the irrigation pressure will be more consistent, because there'll be multiple ways the water will be fed to a certain area. And we'll see less change in pressure down here from 3 green up on top of the hill by 6 green and 17. So hope to see a lot more consistent watering pattern in the irrigation system we currently have over there.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
The heads, some of the, where you put the distance to the, are those gonna be changed? Or new ones, or updated, or?
So the system at Sunset will be brand new pipe, but all the heads will be reused over there. And
He's
put in
talking
different-
about the yard.
No, the yard,
Yeah.
you know, every once in a while, you have yard markers on
I think,
the heads.
yeah, I think once the project is completed is when you guys will be doing the update.
Well, it'll be
and
part of the
fixing that.
project. It's put on the bid, but it all depends on how much it's one of the line items on there, so it is included to be on the sprinkler heads.
We'll make sure that we get it taken care of. Don't you worry. Just gotta fix, gotta get the heads installed there.
That's really important.
Yeah.
For us old guys.
See, then, we're looking forward to 23, just a few items we're gonna look at doing our fixed asset inventory, so replacing items around the golf course that we need. Could be anywhere from appliances at the clubhouse, small hand tools or other pieces of equipment around the maintenance shop, work on broken fence posts around the perimeter of the course. And then just like this year, depending on how we come out of winter, seed any bare areas that we could see come out of winter. So going into 23 and 24, we won't be doing as many projects on the golf course, just since it'll be disrupted with construction. So we won't be doing any cart pass or major renovation projects until after the water project and the irrigation system are put in, so that way we don't end up destroying all the work we just got done.
Do you, in that, you look at the ball washers, things, you call
The
it,
stands,
the stands?
we do, that's more of a as-needed basis when they get worn out or we notice that something needs attention.
How do you, just, maybe we get off the subject, but how do you maintain those? Because like, sometimes we'll be water one, other times it'll be suds in another. There don't seem to be any consistency.
That just, so in the middle of the summer, it's kind of hard with the evaporation, but that's something between the maintenance crew and the marshals out there. Someone goes around and fills them up and checks them. It's supposed to be on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. Sometimes it probably gets forgotten, and that's where they get a little dry out in there.
Do you think ball washers are necessary?
Unfortunately, with me, they are.
Is everybody else?
Well, especially when you get when you get the rain, and then here, then you get mud in your ball and all that good stuff.
I enjoy having a wet towel, but the one problem is as you're out playing, if you don't have a place to get water, if there's coolers, you can get some water, that's fine, but if you have a wet towel, that's what I use most of the time. Because it's too hard to remember to get into the ball washer or whatever else.
Thank you, Ryan.
One main thing we had this year was the 100-year party over there at Sunset. I mentioned at our last meeting, there's just a few pictures of that evening. Left before everyone showed up. And on the right, as the evening went down, as we were all enjoying the sunset at sunset, listening to the music.
That picture does not represent what it was
No.
like, because everybody was hugging the two tree lines.
Yeah.
I was amazed how well you got that cleaned up. I played the next day, and around 10 o'clock in the morning or something. Man, you wouldn't know that was even there the night before. The night before.
Besides a couple random
It was incredible.
cans of olives somewhere, besides that, everyone did a really good job of picking up, and we
It was
hardly
incredible.
found any trash the morning after, or the night up as we were picking up.
She did a nice job. Good.
Good. go here, go into some course conditions at Sunset. This was my presentation was supposed to give in October, so all this stuff we aerated on September 7th. So by now, everything at Sunset's healed up. No sign of aeration when we did it 2 months ago almost already. So we'll be on the schedule again for spring of next year, probably somewhere mid-April. I think after this, you can ask Ryan. He's healed in really quick, not too much sign of aeration, very more than a week and a half.
Maybe it's just my imagination, but I thought the greens at Sunset were incredible this year. They were a lot better than they have been.
I've heard that a lot from a lot of people coming and going. Ryan then did aeration on the 7th there. I don't know, what was it, like 3 days later even. I went out on the putting green on the practice area. I had my daughter with me at the time, so I had her in carrier. I'm just rolling a few putts, and I couldn't tell that there was aeration done.
Really
And I
nice.
honestly thought they were the fastest they've been all year too, right after this. And I mean, as a player, I was completely blown away. I was very happy with it. As a head professional, I'm extremely ecstatic about it when I hear customers saying, greens have been fantastic. That's the pride and joy, really, of all the golf courses. Those are our children at the golf courses. We take care of them. If we don't have the greens, we don't have anybody coming to play.
That's good.
For that, then right now, here's kind of a little schedule of what we've been doing to get ready for winter. Which we did another slight little venting or needle tining in the first part of October just to help increase the airflow on the greens, help dry them out a little more. We've been, all the watering, compaction we do with the rolling and everything throughout the year definitely takes its toll on the greens, which on our side of it we see as a black layer, which is when you cut a cup right underneath the root zone of the grass, there's a little bit of black organic material that builds up through the year. So putting some holes in the green to get some air moving down helps reduce that. So we're a little better going into winter and getting ready for the spring. Put down some fertilizer just after that to help get them a little healthier going into the winter. This year, over at Sunset, we were able to aerate the entire golf course. We aerated greens, we aerated tees and surrounds, and approaches. We were able to use the tractor mounted aerator from Twin Peaks here to do Sunset, so we were able to do 1/2 inch tines, 4 to 5 inches deep on all the fairways. And then also afterwards, they were able to take, we have, it's called an airway. It takes little 1/4 inch wide by 5 inch long knives that you drive around, just kind of put slits everywhere, and we were able to hit the course again, just to help increase the airflow and get ready for some moisture for the winter. The bottom parts here, right now, we're kind of waiting on what Mother Nature allows us to do. We were scheduled to do our bulk fertilizer app last Tuesday, but our little impromptu snowstorm kind of changed that plan. And we were supposed to go again tomorrow, but with nothing melting off, we're on the schedule again for next week. And we'll see how it goes, and then we'll be waiting for the greens to clear off to apply one last dose of fungicide to them to help for snow mold. So if we do end up having another spring like we did this year, where the greens are covered for an extended period of time, we won't have to worry about any disease or fungus wanting to grow underneath there, which helps us buy a little time, and the greens come a lot better out in the spring than if we don't do it. In front of here, here's just a small group of guys who work over there at Sunset. Ranging from Danny, who's our one full-time guy over here, and the rest of them are all the temporary guys that work over there. So between all of them and myself and the mechanic that's splits his time between here and Sunset. And to make Sunset as good a product as we can get for the golfers over there. And if anyone has any questions, that's all I have.
Brian, did you have anything you wanted to talk about?
I mean, really, the only, the 100-year party was the biggest thing that happened for the year. You know, tournaments, we had a lot of great tournaments. I mean, of course, it was fantastic to be able to produce a lot of great tournaments for the people. You know, honestly, I don't have much. It's just thank you guys. Thank the customers. We try to thank everyone because we wouldn't be here without you guys. Sunset exists, Twin Peaks, U Creek, we all exist because of the customers, really. And with the weather, everything, it's been a fantastic year. It really has. I know my business has seen probably the best year it's ever had, you know, but that's also because we've gotten more people in the door. It's always how we try to run our businesses. You know, if we get more people there, we may make some money to, you know, pay the employees. But, you know, we're there for the golfers. We're there for the golfers. So, I don't really have much. Thank you guys.
Any other questions? Okay, now next line was 2023
Good job,
capital.
Larry. Yep, he covered that. Great job. Presentation.
Yeah,
Nope.
we're putting Sunset
Yeah,
back in shape.
you wanna talk about items
Put it in shape.
410?
Yes, so we have 2 openings on the board. Marshall, we interviewed this week. John indicated tonight, when we were waiting for the meeting to start, that he had applied for the board, so I need to reach out to the clerk's office. But it was Rick and Annie and I did the interviews, and we would like to recommend to reappoint Marshall. We'd like a motion on that, and then I'll get back to you, John, as soon as I hear from the clerk's office. Yeah.
Good.
Somebody willing to make that motion?
We will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to
To recommend.
Second. Made and seconded. Thank you, Bill. Any additional items from staff?
Nope.
Items from the board? Well, let me just say, I thank you, everybody, on the board this year. Thank you for your support and cooperation, attendance. Hope you all have happy holidays. And we can go soon.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Second. And approved, we are done.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas.